My daughter changed the locks of our house without asking me. Right after my husband's funeral, she put my stuff outside and said, "I own this house now, go." I was shocked, but when she learned the truth, she started to cry. "This house belongs to me now? Mom, you can't go in. Your key won't work, so you'd better throw it away." My daughter arrived and saw me holding the key. My stuff was pretty close to the door. I didn't understand why my daughter treated me like that, especially while I was still sad because of my husband's death. I felt lost and confused. My name is Suzanne, and I am 60 years old. My husband passed away recently after a long illness. Many people came to his funeral and shared memories of him. We said goodbye with smiles rather than tears, as he would have liked, but despite all the support, I was still feeling very sad. We have a daughter named Emily. She got married and moved away, and we haven't seen her much lately, even during the holidays. She left quickly after coming briefly to her father's funeral. Before Emily got married, she was very close to us. She always said that she could not bear the idea of living far from us, even if we encouraged her to live independently. After finding a job, she thought that meals tasted better when the family ate together. I usually came home late from work, so we made sure to take our meals together on my rest days. Maybe Emily was saying this to cheer up her father, who became weaker and weaker because of his illness. We were really happy and grateful for Emily's attention. Then, suddenly, Emily announced that she was getting married and quickly handled the marriage papers. After that, she left the house in a hurry. We were confused by her sudden decision. We only met her partner once and had only one brief conversation with him. He seemed to really like her, and we only wanted Emily's happiness with their relationship. However, a few months after her marriage, Emily completely stopped talking to us. We were very worried and continued to send her messages and call her every day to check if she was fine, but she did not answer any of our messages or calls. Finally, when she responded, she looked annoyed and told us to stop bothering her. She even joked that she would only speak to us if we sent money during the day. She looked drunk and spoke with vague words. My husband heard everything and simply sighed deeply. Emily's behavior seemed to be influenced by her husband, Lucas. After that, my husband never talked about Emily again. A few years later, Emily shamefully asked for money because she had financial problems. This was the last time she and her father saw each other. Over the years, my husband and I shared many memories together. We traveled and took on new hobbies every time he felt good. Finally, my husband passed away. When I returned home from his funeral, I was shocked to see movers, directed by Emily, stacking my stuff outside. She told them to pile everything up in the corner. When she saw me, she said, "Well, Mom, this is not your house anymore. I packed your stuff. You will have to find another place to live before it starts to rain and everything gets wet." "Emily, why are you doing this? What's going on? Please tell me what's going on," I pleaded. I was so confused, not understanding anything. "What is there to explain? You already know that, right? This house is supposed to go to Emily after me. Don't act like you don't understand," said Emily. Then a big man came out from behind her. It was because of him that Emily had changed. His name is Lucas, and he is Emily's husband. Meeting him completely transformed Emily. We were introduced to him as an ordinary guy who worked in a company, but later, we found out that he was involved in shady dealings. When we learned this, we could not understand how our daughter Emily had ended up with someone like Lucas, and we were really worried. Emily and Lucas kept us away, but a few years ago, they suddenly came to us and shamefully asked my husband for money. This shook me deeply, but my husband remained calm and mentioned a will that I didn't even know existed at the time. He made it clear that this house would go to Emily and everything else would go to me. Update Part 2. Now that Dad has passed away, the house belongs to Amy Lee, so strangers should leave quickly. You don't have the right to live here. Don't pretend you forgot. Lucas threw my things aside with a sneer. But you can't just show up here, he said. Suddenly, seeing my things piled up outside, I didn't know what to do. I felt completely lost. Now, Lucas, don't be so harsh. Mom shouldn't stay here, but we are still a family, aren't we? Amy Lee said as she approached me while I held the key. Don't be so sad. You will always be my mom. You can use this key to come to the house whenever you want. Don't feel too depressed. Then she took the key from my hand and threw it as far as she could. What's wrong with you? I asked, shocked by Emily's unexpected action. As I turned to her, I said, I'm sorry about that. Looking closer, I realized the key was already useless. I had forgotten we had changed the locks earlier. So, there was no point in you keeping it, Amy Lee said. I threw it away for you. Don't act like I did something terrible. It's not that serious. Amy Lee and Lucas looked at me incredulously and burst out laughing. Emily's face, now completely different from before her marriage, showed she would do anything for her own benefit. I felt tears beginning to form. Then I remembered my husband's gentle smile, as if he were telling me to stay strong. Amy Lee, I understand what you're trying to say, but you're mistaken. This isn't the right place to discuss this. Let's go inside. I insisted that Amy Lee and Lucas come inside, but they resisted. We're still settling in. And don't act like you're in charge by telling us where to discuss things. This is no longer your house. You need our permission to enter, Lucas retorted. Facing Lucas's harshness, I persisted, We need to discuss this house. It doesn't belong to you yet. I was about to explain when Amy Lee interrupted. I've called someone who can explain things clearly to you, and he'll be here soon. Let's go inside and have some tea. If you continue to refuse, I'll call the police. Don't make me say it again. This house doesn't belong to Amy Lee. If you understand, come inside quickly. If you try anything, I'll be the one to call the police, I said firmly, unsettling them a little. Well, this might be the last time we listen to the nonsense of an old woman. You're getting old anyway. We'll listen to you this time. But if you talk nonsense, you'll have to pay for wasting our time, Lucas threatened. Sitting on the couch with her legs crossed, Amy Lee gave me a similar look. It seemed they had already threatened people in this way to get what they wanted, which made me sad. Shortly after, the doorbell rang, and I let a man into the living room. It was a lawyer who was present when my husband shared the details of the will. You're the lawyer from before, aren't you? What do you mean? We saw the will that says this house goes to Amy Lee, and Dad said it. That's the truth, isn't it? Lucas argued. As I mentioned earlier, there was a misunderstanding. The will includes a condition, and if this condition is met, the inheritance changes, the lawyer clarified. Why confuse us with all these complicated terms? Amy Lee responded with frustration. Seeing their confusion, the lawyer explained, a conditional will with revocation means the will contains conditions. In your father's will, the condition was that Suzanne could stay in the house as long as she is in good health. Amy Lee would only inherit the house if Suzanne could no longer live there due to health problems or her death. Your father was very clear about this. Lucas and Amy Lee looked completely lost. Did he really say that? Even if he did, we don't remember it. What is this revocation thing? Amy Lee shook her head, incredulous. All right, then, what about these conditions? Lucas asked, a bit shaken but still defiant, trying to get Suzanne out of the house. You violated the conditions of the will. Because of this, Amy Lee lost her right to inherit the house, the lawyer explained directly. Wait, are you saying I can't inherit just because of that? That's ridiculous, Amy Lee exploded in frustration. That's the essence of this will. Violating this condition, whether minor or major, results in revocation, the lawyer explained calmly. When did we ever violate this condition? Can you prove it? Lucas leaned forward, clearly trying to intimidate the lawyer. Update Part 3. There was a moving truck outside, arranged by the two of you, right? You were trying to move in here and live without Suzanne's consent. Don't act like we did something wrong. We told Mom about it, she just forgot and panicked by herself. It's not our fault, protested Emily. Such excuses do not work in the adult world. Not only did you move without permission, but you also threw my stuff out and told me to leave quickly, replied the lawyer in a severe tone. I never said that. You're lying. I can't believe my own mother would invent such accusations. If you continue like this, I will sue you. Do you really want this? Being pursued by your own daughter is the last thing you want, right? So take back what you said, Lucas interjected, anger filling his voice. The lawyer remained calm and checked his phone. We cannot deny the truth. Several witnesses have seen you and heard Suzanne being told to leave. We even recorded their testimony. He played a video containing the statements of the movers and neighbors. All the testimonies agreed. You could have paid them to say that. How can we trust this? Stop taking us for fools, Lucas snapped, but the lawyer ignored him. Instead, he pulled out a key. Emily, you took Suzanne's key and threw it away, which was observed by many people, and you changed the locks. This means Suzanne cannot enter or live here, thus violating the condition that she could stay as long as she is in good health. You have violated the terms of the inheritance. Lucas threatened, don't say anything. If I get serious, I can make sure that a lawyer like you never works again. Despite Lucas's threats, the lawyer remained calm and continued. Therefore, this house will never belong to Emily, and you have no right to live here. Now, please remove your belongings and return Suzanne's immediately. If you delay or try to stay, we will report a break-in to the police. You have 2 hours. Start now. The lawyer clapped his hands sharply and checked the time on his watch. The police, you say? That will not intimidate me. Bragged Lucas, but the lawyer replied, I'm a professional, and this is not a bluff. Having trouble with the police because of this would only cause you more problems. Even Lucas seemed to understand that it was not an empty threat. Oh no. Lucas and Emily began to sweat profusely and quickly started moving their stuff. It seemed that Lucas was more bark than bite, like a big guy with no courage. I'm sorry. We'll put everything back together right away, so please do not call the police, begged Emily, speaking sweetly to the lawyer and yelling at the mover outside to reload the truck. However, they refused, saying there had been no agreement to that effect. Finally, Lucas had to rent a car and managed to load their stuff. Loading is not enough, you have to put everything back together as it was. If Suzanne's things are damaged or dirty, clean them. Any damage, and we will report material damage and seek compensation, reiterated the lawyer, pushing Lucas and Emily to put everything back in place within 2 hours after loading their stuff. After they packed everything, Emily cried and asked Lucas, now that we have everything packed up, what do we do? How should I know? It's because of your father's strange will, retorted Lucas with grit, disgracing Emily for not having paid attention to the will correctly. Despite their dispute, they left by car, Leaving the premises, I warmly thank the lawyer and welcome him to my house filled with memories of my husband, Suzanne said, feeling relieved. Later, I heard that Lucas and Emily had caused trouble in their previous city and had almost secretly moved into our house. They had targeted me for the inheritance money, but now they were gone. The fact that Emily remained with Lucas seemed like a lifetime of repeated mistakes. It hurt, but that was the path Emily had chosen. If one day they regret their actions and want to live honestly, I would be willing to help them. My husband had mentioned something like that. For now, I will enjoy my time in our shared house, maybe even try skydiving, something my husband had wanted to do. Looking at the stars in the night sky, I felt my husband was encouraging me.
After listening to today's story, perhaps it has raised some new questions in your mind, or maybe it has brought back some old memories. Every day on Reddit, new experiences and moments create fresh stories, and they connect all of us. Everyone has their own unique journey in life, and we all try to understand the world in our own way. These kinds of moments remind us that we are all human, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, and always learning something new. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to share it with your friends. Your thoughts and feedback are always valuable to us, as they motivate us to create even better content. Every story has its own unique angle, and our goal is to understand everyone's perspective and make our content diverse and relatable. Stories like these help us realize that life's journey is different for everyone, and by hearing other stories, we learn something new. You can also share your own stories with us. Your experiences are valuable to us as well, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave your feedback. We aim to create content that brightens your mind and gives you new ideas every time. If you've already seen this video before, your feedback is still important. With every piece of feedback, we can improve our content and bring a new perspective to our viewers. Today, what we saw was just a small part of the many stories shared on Reddit and across the world. It's a reminder of how we all try to understand life by sharing our experiences with each other. This video was only an example of how we try to connect with others through storytelling, learning about different sides of life. We hope to continue sharing such stories that help us all learn and grow together. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to keep an eye out for more stories coming soon. If you haven't already, please like and follow for more amazing content. Your support keeps us going, and we will strive to bring you more thought-provoking and heartwarming stories. Until next time, take care and stay curious. **